The Talented Mr. Ripley was directed by Anthony Minghella and stars Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Jude Law. A talented musician and con artist, Tom Ripley is sent to Italy to retrieve a spoiled millionaire, Dickie Greenleaf, but when the two become very close friends, things turn for the worse. We are on to my next classic movie review. These are films that I have always wanted to watch, but never got the chance to until now in the midst of the coronavirus. And the next film up for me to review is The Talented Mr. Ripley. It stars Matt Damon, an actor that I used to not like very much. Until recently, I've grown a little bit of a soft spot for Matt Damon. I don't know, I just like the guy now. One might say that Talented Mr. Ripley is a different kind of movie role for Matt Damon. He typically always plays himself, at least that's what I get out of his films. He doesn't seem to play a character. I always just feel like he's playing Matt Damon and nothing other than Matt Damon. But in this film, it is certainly a different performance than what we're used to seeing from Matt Damon performances. And yes, once again, Matt Damon is great. In this film, he plays Tom Ripley, a character that is a con artist. You don't know too much about him. He's very mysterious, and Jude Law's character does grow very close, but that might not be the greatest idea for his character considering what he does not know about Matt Damon's character, Tom Ripley. And I have to love what Anthony Minghella did with Tom Ripley in the film. You don't ever find out too much information about Tom Ripley's past. It's kept in the dark, and you never find out too much, which is really great. It always keeps this film a huge mystery. You never know exactly where it's going to go. The other performance in The Talented Mr. Ripley you have to acknowledge is Jude Law's. For me, it's a meme-worthy performance. There's some dialogue he says that comes off as pretty funny to myself, especially this one line.
It's boring. You can be quite boring.
I just love the guy in The Talented Mr. Ripley. This is one of Jude Law's better performances. I wish he was in more Oscar-worthy type of roles, but they just never give him these kind of roles anymore. Going back to the mystery aspect of The Talented Mr. Ripley, this film is definitely one of the better mysteries I've seen in a while, because you never know where it's going to go. Are they going to catch Matt Damon's character for the crimes he's committing, or is he going to escape? It also becomes a pretty good thriller too, because when you can't predict when certain things are going to take place, that's always a great thing in film. I mean, when you're able to predict one thing after another in a movie, I just get so ticked off. But the movie is always very tension-filled, and there's never that many times where you don't feel like you're on the edge of your seat. Once you get through the first hour of The Talented Mr. Ripley, this is a suspense-filled film, and Anthony Minghella did a fantastic job at directing this movie. I don't have a single problem with any of the directing of The Talented Mr. Ripley. Something else I like a lot in The Talented Mr. Ripley is the score. It sounds modern day, but at the same time classical. It also sounds like a score that you would hear in a detective movie like Clue or something else along those lines. It's a really good score, and it fits the vibe very well. They even talk about themes like being a nobody versus being somebody who you are not, and Matt Damon's character is the focus of those themes. I love how they handle the themes in this film, but that one in particular takes the cake for me. I think The Talented Mr. Ripley has some pretty good performances for the most part, along with great direction and a score that's very unique, unlike anything else I've heard before, but I do have a couple of problems with the film. For one, it takes about 50 minutes to an hour to even figure out where the movie is going. What is the main plot of this film? One negative to keeping Matt Damon's character Tom Ripley so mysterious the entire time is that you never can guess where this movie is actually going or what the film is trying to be until about we get an hour into the movie. So it does take a while for us to really truly understand what's happening. And for the kind of movie this is, being a suspenseful, chilling, tension-filled kind of movie, they never tap into its real potential. There are some really great elements to The Talented Mr. Ripley, but they never go above and beyond with this kind of premise. When you have a premise like this, I would expect them to go even further with it, but they never do, and the movie ends on a lower note than I would have liked. It also doesn't help that it takes nearly an hour just to understand where this movie is going and what it's trying to be. But I do like the performances coming from Matt Damon and Jude Law in particular, and Anthony Minghella did a great job at directing this film. God rest his soul. I wish he was still here with us because he was the perfect director for this movie. but I do wish they tapped more into this film's premise. They didn't go as far as they could have. Because of that, I am giving The Talented Mr. Ripley a 72%. Alright, and as always, for those of you who have seen The Talented Mr. Ripley, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section if you loved it, if you hated it, and for those who have not seen this film, are you excited to watch it? Netflix just dropped another new movie with Chris Hemsworth and my man David Harbour called Extraction, so that's going to be my next movie review. If you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.